Chapter 86, The Approaching Storm. Marcus made his way through Drakmoor's morning streets toward the Rhodey Inn, his mind still processing the weapons training from the modern world. The self-defense techniques Instructor Brass had demonstrated felt increasingly relevant as he observed the city's growing tensions. Groups of locals gathered on street corners, speaking in hushed tones about refugee problems. Children threw stones at refugee camps before running away laughing. The Rhodey Inn sat in the middle of Drakmoor's commercial district, a sturdy building that catered to merchants and travelers with enough coin for decent meals. As Marcus pushed through the heavy wooden door, the innkeeper looked him up and down with obvious disdain.
"This way, dear, this way."
Celestine's voice called from the same corner booth where she always seemed to appear. She was already seated wearing clothes that somehow managed to look both expensive and completely out of place.
"Lady loves her peasant so much she keeps hiring him. She hired the rat again."
The innkeeper made a loud comment as Marcus walked past the bar. His buddies at the counter laughed at the demeaning joke, their voices carrying clearly across the room. Marcus didn't let the insults bother him. His concerns for the city's survival were far more pressing than wounded pride. He slid into the booth across from Celestine, noting her unusually serious expression.
"Why did you call me here? I hope you found a way to protect everyone from Malachar's magic."
Celestine's normally playful demeanor was replaced by grim urgency.
"Dear, I'm afraid our timeline has to move up significantly. I have bad news."
"What is it?"
"I heard rumors about Malachar gathering his western forces. They finished pillaging the outer provinces of Valdres and—"
She paused, studying Marcus's face.
"And what?"
"I think he's commanding the gathered forces to march on Drakmoor, which would effectively end the kingdom of Valdres entirely."
Marcus's stomach dropped like a stone thrown into deep water. He didn't know what to say, didn't know what to do. The magnitude of the threat was overwhelming.
"Dear, when he brings his army near the city, you'll be able to enter his power plant where the Earthseed resides. His forces will be deployed elsewhere."
"I can't think about stealing seeds right now. We're about to be under siege. Can't you do something to help us?"
"I can't take that risk. I can't expose myself to your planet's creator. Plus, me interfering directly could create unexpected consequences for your entire society."
Marcus wanted to argue, wanted to fight back against the cosmic rules that prevented her from helping. But a god-like being suddenly appearing to solve human problems would definitely impact society in unimaginable ways. The social, religious, and political ramifications could be worse than the original crisis. Still, he couldn't hide his frustration.
"Marcus, if he's on the move, his facilities become penetrable. You go and copy the seed. Get out. Remember, Malachar is mortal. He's not the entity pulling otherworlders to this planet. Ephus itself is calling for help."
"When we're facing famine war and a crazy dark wizard, how can I deal with planetary problems? Why should saving the world be my responsibility?"
"Because this could be your only opportunity. Malachar would be away with his army, and with Palwyn's portal abilities, you actually have a chance at infiltration."
"She can't even function properly as an individual. How is she supposed to handle a covert mission?"
"Find good scholars, teachers. Help her develop the skills she needs."
Marcus leaned forward, grasping at the one promise that had sustained him through months of preparation.
You promised a way to protect us from Malachar's mind control magic."
"I will find a way. When you've copied the seed, you can use its power to protect your city from his mental manipulation."
"And how would I do that? I'll be thousands of miles away after stealing the seed. I need to protect my family here."
Marcus caught himself before his frustration boiled over completely.
"Sorry for the outburst. It's just that I'm channeling all my energy and investments into this world, and it could all end in a couple of weeks."
Celestine's expression softened slightly.
"It's okay, dear. If you can defend your city successfully, then I'll bring my copies of the other seeds so you can try to repair your planet's damaged systems. Until then, I'll continue looking for ways to counter his magic, or at least something that won't affect you specifically."
"Thanks for the warning. Now I need to figure out how to explain to the city's lords how I know about an incoming attack."
Marcus thought about the political impossibilities facing him. Celestine stood to leave, her form already becoming less substantial.
"Remember, dear, this isn't just about your city. The seed corruption affects the entire world. Fix this and you prevent similar crises and prevent Ephus."
As Celestine vanished, Marcus sat alone in the booth trying to process everything he'd learned. The innkeeper and his friends continued their jokes about peasants and refugees, completely unaware that their world was about to change forever. Marcus left the inn and hurried back to their shop, his mind racing with impossible decisions. How do you tell people their city is about to be destroyed without revealing impossible sources of information? How do you prepare for a siege when the political establishment refuses to acknowledge the threat? He found Tom, Aldrich, Sarah, and Palwyn working in their usual harmony, completely unaware of the approaching catastrophe. Marcus gathered them in the back of the shop, away from Sarah's cousins and any customers.
I need to tell you something, but you can't share this information with anyone else yet.
Marcus looked at each face, seeing trust and concern in their expressions.
What's wrong?
Reading the tension in his voice.
The city might be under attack within weeks. Malachar is gathering his forces for a final assault on Drakmor.
Tom's face went pale.
Do you know this?
I can't explain my sources, but the information is reliable. We need to prepare for siege conditions.
Aldrich immediately understood the implications.
If Malachar besieges the city, food supplies will be cut off completely. The mushroom cultivation won't be nearly enough.
Which is why I need everyone to start preparing quietly. Stock supplies, strengthen defenses, and help me train Palwyn for something important.
Sarah looked at Palwyn, who was listening with her characteristic focused attention.
Trainer for what?
For her portal magic could be crucial for getting supplies or information during a siege, but she needs to learn more control over her abilities.
Marcus spent the next hour trying to work with Palwyn on basic magical exercises, but her conditioning from the group mind made individual decision-making nearly impossible. She could follow specific commands perfectly but couldn't initiate actions on her own.
Palwyn, try to open a small portal between these 2 points.
Placing markers on the floor, Palwyn stared at the markers, but nothing happened. Tom watched the frustrating attempts with growing concern.
Marcus, maybe we should ask for help from the academy. They have teachers who understand magical training.
Marcus considered the suggestion. Professor Thaddeus had replaced Master Thymon as headmaster, and he'd made it clear that Marcus wasn't welcome at the academy. But if Palwyn's abilities were as crucial as Celestine suggested, they needed expert help.
That might be our only option. Tom, do you think Professor Thaddeus would even see us?
I can ask. He's been busy reorganizing everything after Master Thymon's death, but he might make time if I explain it's important.
As they discussed academy politics, Marcus felt the weight of cosmic responsibility pressing down on him. He was supposed to save his family, save his city, save his world, and potentially save countless other worlds throughout the universe. The magnitude of it was overwhelming. But, looking at his friends, seeing their determination to help, despite not understanding the full scope of the crisis, Marcus felt renewed resolve. Maybe he couldn't handle everything alone, but he wasn't actually alone. Tom's strength, Sarah's ingenuity, Aldrich's business acumen, and even Palwyn's unique abilities gave them capabilities that no individual could possess. The approaching storm would test everything they'd built and everyone they'd become. But they'd face it together with whatever skills and resources they could gather. Sometimes that had to be enough, because it was all they had.